Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, March the 19th, 2024, 10 a.m., and we're here for a hybrid meeting. Those of you who wish to attend virtually, of course, could, but we have people who are present. We'll go with the roll call right now. It's the Police Service Board meeting, so roll call. We have everyone here. We're still looking for Enika. I don't know if she had sent something in or not, but she may arrive momentarily. With that said, let's go to number 2. The approval of the agenda, the recommendation that the March 19th, 2024 Police Service Board meeting agenda be approved as circulated. Henry Weersmith is moving that, and thank you, Matt, for seconding that. All in favor? Fantastic. By the way, welcome to Ron Leclerc, who is attending today. And Ron, remind me again, what's your official title? I know what your function is, but what's your official title?
I'm an advisor with the Inspectorate of Policing.
Right, advisor for the, okay, so just make sure you hit your button there so we can hear. Yeah, but thank you very much. And just before we proceed, and again and use your microphone, please. What exactly is your function at these meetings, just for the TV audience? Because I don't know if we've ever really done that.
Yeah, so primarily my role is to provide advice and guidance to police services boards. I'm assigned to Zone 6, which is basically southwestern Ontario. Part of the role is also to ensure compliance with regulation and requirements under the Police Services Act at the moment, but by next month, the Community Safety Policing Act.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for your oversight, and I'm sure with the oncoming CSPA, you'll be an invaluable resource in helping us to implement that. I'm only aware of some of the details, but I think there's going to be quite a bit of work there from the sounds of things. And I think the Mayor and the Vice Chair, did you get educated on that at a recent convention or something? Yes.
Yep, we were, a couple weeks ago, we went to Toronto for the summit. A couple of days, lots of info. It was like drinking from the fire hose. So lots of stuff to digest. And then in June, we are heading up to Blue Mountain for the spring conference for the OAPSB conference.
Yeah, and I think, thank you for that. And I think what's going to happen is probably for the next year after June or whenever it comes, a lot of our time is going to be spent in making sure that the CSPA is being properly implemented. And so the people in the TV audience, they can stay tuned for that. There'll be lots coming on it. And welcome, Enika.
Sorry about
No, that's okay. It's slippery out there. And so Enika is
I
now
just
here.
came back late last night, so.
Yeah, we just did approval of agenda.
Okay.
And now we're on to the scintillating declaration of pecuniary interest. And of course, for people in the audience, pecuniary means that financial interest. So is there anyone here who has a conflicting financial interest in some of the business here today? Seeing none, and we rarely have that, we'll go on to number 4, which is the reading and correction or approval of minutes, and that's the general meeting minutes of February 21st, 2024. Recommendation, the minutes of the February 21st, 2024 general meeting of the Strathroy-Caradoc Police Service Board be approved as written. Moved by Matt, seconded by your worship, Colin Grantham, and all those in favor, so carried. Fantastic. Keeping up the pace here, number 5, communications. The recommendation is that the communication to items 5.1.1 to 5.1.6 be received for information, and most of them from the Ministry of the Solicitor General. Before we do that, well, I'll get them on the floor. Can we have them move to have them received for information? Moved by Matt, seconded by Henry. And before we go through all that, are there any that people would like to pull it and speak to? The Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, through you, and I'll just, a question to the Deputy Chief, then a comment. 5.1 and 5.12, human trafficking. I know if I understand correctly, Deputy Cushman, we are on, if I've heard correctly, we are on a major trafficking corridor. I believe the 401 is one, but 402, could you just comment on 402 and our location about it? You know, just the human trafficking, I have heard that 402 is a major corridor, so.
Through the chair to his worship. Yeah, the 401, 402 are always fraught with nefarious activity traveling around. More so in particular to the larger urban centers, so Sarnia, London, Chatham, that way. We do keep an eye open for it. Generally, the human trafficking is done in hotels and the like, and at present, we don't have any hotels in our jurisdiction, but I can assure you that even though the hotels aren't in Strathroy-Caradoc, our members do keep an eye on those.
Thank you. I just wanted to highlight that about human trafficking. Thanks.
Absolutely, good information. And any other items that would like to be pulled for discussion or questions before I call the vote to receive them for information? Seeing none then, let's vote. All those in favor of receiving them for information? Thank you, very much. Carried. Number 6, the review of monthly police service reports, and the recommendation is that the monthly reports 6.1 to 6.5 be received for information. Could we do that now? Could we have a mover and a seconder to receive them for information? Deputy Chair Hall, Henry Wiersma, thank you very much. And with that said, they're on the floor, and we'll pass it over to the Deputy Chief, who can run us through a few of these, and of course we can ask questions along the way. So the floor is yours, Deputy Chief.
Thank you, Chair. So I am going to touch on the criminal investigation report submitted by Sergeant Cartwright. Point number 1, the February 2nd drug search warrant. Just another example of the fantastic work that our frontline members are doing, gathering intelligence and providing it to our street crime and excuse me, criminal investigation division. To do search warrants, again, more fentanyl, cocaine, methamphetamine, and seizure of cash. Again, fentanyl is the drug of choice and very lethal to those who consume it. Another one down, point number 4, is another drug seizure, traffic stop. Member was a prohibited driver and was found to have a load of drugs on him and was charged as a result of that. The final point is the digital forensics unit. That's relatively new, late last year into this year, where Detective Constable Butts, who I'm hoping will be at the next meeting to speak about this unit, he does all of the cell phone and computer downloads. We used to have to send those away either to OPP or London. Sometimes we could get some help from St. Thomas, but with all the devices being seized now, everybody is completely backed up. It was taking 9 months to a year to get cell phone data back from the OPP. So we now do that in-house, and it's usually within a week turnaround by Detective Constable Butts. So,
Member Hahn.
I had a question for you, and it noted 9 devices that were seized. What are the main devices that you're seizing under the DFU?
yeah, so the majority are cell phones. So if we arrest a person, so up above, if we arrest someone for drug offenses, particularly trafficking, so they're selling drugs, then the CID members will write a warrant to search the phone and get the information from the phone, because it could prove evidence of trafficking. So sending messages back and forth with people looking to buy drugs.
How long would you be keeping these cell phones?
We generally would just keep them long enough to do the downloads, and then they would be returned to the owner. Just once we have the evidence off of the phone, so it gets downloaded and stored onto a hard drive, so then we can return the phone to the owner.
Very good.
Member Wiersma.
Yes, Chair, to the Deputy Chief. And walk me through when you do this traffic stop, so you pull them over, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of walk me through what happens, like, to this person.
So depending on the type of the traffic stop, if there's grounds for an arrest, so in this particular instance, the driver was a prohibited driver, so he had been convicted under the criminal code, so he wasn't allowed to drive, so that is an arrestable offense. So upon arrest, it gives us the authority to search. So during that search is when the drugs were located. There could be times where it's just a traffic stop for a a speeding offense, a stop sign offense, where evidence comes before us, where we see evidence of, say, drug use, where it gives us grounds to search.
Okay, but keep going. What happens to this person?
So, well, they would get arrested and brought into the station or released at the side of the road, depending on what the offenses were. They'd be charged with the offenses and then released with a court date, or in this particular instance, this person was held in custody and remanded to the Elgin Middlesex Detention Center.
Okay, that's what I was curious about.
Thank you. I guess we can proceed with the following items.
I'm not likely gonna be as thorough as the chief is for these, but
You're doing great. You're your own person. Just present what you think is relevant, and we can certainly ask questions as we feel.
yeah, there was nothing of significance in the rest of the reports that I went through, other than the MVCs
Okay.
appear to be up, but
Fair enough. Then with that said, items 6.1 to 6.5, are there any more questions about anything in those reports before I ask that we vote to receive them for information? We already have a mover and a seconder, so I'll just call the vote. Let's receive those for information, if you will. Thank you very much. That's unanimous. Thank you, Deputy Chief. And now we'll move on to items from Deputy Chief Cushman. It says, and because Chief Campbell's not here, item 7.1, the March 2024 hiring update. Do you have anything for us on that, Deputy Chief?
I do. So Constable Paul Westendorf has been with the Strathroy-Caradoc Police since, I believe, 2001 or 2002. He has been offered a 2-year secondment at the Ontario Police College to be an instructor there. They're looking for as many instructors as they can get with the government's push to a 4 intake system. They're in dire need of instructors, so Chief Campbell and I discussed it and felt that it'd be a good position for Constable Westendorf. So he will be down there for 2 years. And then we recently just hired a new cadet by the name of Michael Stubb. He's originally a Mount Bridges boy. He moved up to Sudbury for a while and then came back and went to SDCI. Currently lives in London with his fiance and their small little one and their other little one on the way soon. And he also just bought a house in Mount Bridges, so he will be moving there with his wife, and his wife actually works at SNGH. So local ties all around, so good. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I think I taught Mike Stubbs at SDCI, so amongst other members of the
Sure,
force.
if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, ask the Deputy Chief,
Time will
because there
tell.
might be another member.
In regards to the 2-year secondment, is the anticipation that Constable Westendorp will be returning after that? Or do they generally extend that? Or did he sign off on a clause of retirement?
That's a great question. So presently it's a 2-year secondment and they usually offer up a 3rd year. He has a few years to go until retirement, so there may be potential for him to be there even longer. So it's a cost recovery basis, so it helps out the OPC, and we, as it says here, we save a little bit on salary dollars replacing with a new hire.
And it's a great opportunity for him to expand his knowledge and bring that forward to the police college. So that's great. Thanks.
Mary's point.
Yes, thank you, Chair, through you, and just a comment, and then also to the deputy, and I'll apologize to Chief Campbell for this, because I don't know how to phrase this, but I know when we put on the report as someone who's worried about community safety, I'm not too concerned about the financial implications. It's good to save the money, but that's not really, because that's going to lead to the second part of my my question that we've lost somebody with 20 years experience and we've replaced them with a cadet, and I'm sure they've done a good job. I don't know if you can help me comment on that, but just to me, as both a citizen and the police board, the financial implications are far secondary to what it might possibly mean to community safety. I'm sure Michael's gonna be great, given the fact that, you know, the chair may have taught him, but I just, I just, you know, my concern, deputy, that we've taken a very experienced person and good for him, but we replaced him with, because we don't have that many officers, correct?
So that's a good point. So in June of this year, Victoria Butler, who is a sergeant with us currently, is seconded to OPC. She will be retiring at the end of June, so Constable Westendorp will essentially be replacing her. Right. There is a bit of a learning curve at the beginning, but I don't think that it'll really impact the front line with getting him up to speed. And just to comment on students of the chair, I think they do okay.
Or I'm sorry, Chair, I can't, or sometimes it just makes my case, so I'll rest my case.
But maybe with that said, the culture of, in our police force at the moment with new cadets, in terms of members who have more experience, could you maybe just outline briefly, seeing as we're moving along at an alarmingly quick pace here through this agenda, the process by which cadets are mentored by individuals in our force, and how institutional knowledge is passed along to them to help us be reassured that public safety is being taken into account, even though we are saving money financially.
Yep, so when we do a process, we hire the new cadet. They spend about a week with us before starting their OPC or Ontario Police College training. Currently they do 3 weeks of online asynchronous and synchronous training, so some of it is live taught, some of it is self-taught. And then they do 10 weeks at the Ontario Police College on site, doing a lot of the hands-on instruction that they can't do via the computer. After that, currently, we have them remain for another week to do what's called standardized field sobriety testing, which is the roadside stuff to check for alcohol and drug impairment. So it's basically like you've seen on cops, where they stand on the side of the road and touch their nose and do that stuff. When they get back, they do 42 shifts with what's called a coach or a training officer, which usually takes 2.5 to 3 months, at which point, if they're found suitable by their coach officer and their supervisor, their sergeant, then they can be released on their own to begin patrolling on their own. Having said that, the 3 that we just returned from the college from the last intake were just put out onto the road on their own this week. So we have 3 brand new officers out on the road patrolling Strathroy-Caradoc. So,
Member Hahn?
The 10-week time frame at the police college, do they stay on site?
yes, they do. So there's accommodations, food, everything is there. They stay on site, and it's 10 weeks.
And that would be our cost, right? The police services of Strathroy-Caradoc, as soon as they are hired as a cadet, the first week, like you said, they're at the police station here. Then they move on for 10 weeks, and those costs are part of the training costs under our budget.
Correct. So their salary is covered by the municipality. The actual training costs at OPC are covered by the province. It used to be the recruit would pay, I think the last year it was approximately $12,000. The provincial government eliminated that, so the recruits do not have to pay that. So. And
their accommodation is all paid by the
Correct.
province.
Yes.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Have they received Have they received quite a large intake of new cadets? The police college, is there a waiting list?
So currently, up until last year, there were 3 intakes per year of approximately 400, 450, up to, I think it was 1,420 recruits per year. The provincial government increased it to 4 intakes, up to 2,000 recruits per year. So they've increased it by just over 500. I was just at March Past last Friday for the latest recruit we had, and there was 548, I believe, was the number of recruits. It was tight.
That's a lot of people.
Thank you for that. So the recommendation is the board receive report POL 2024-09 for information, the hiring report. Do we have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Henry Wiersma, seconded by Matt Hall. All those in favor? Thank you very much. That is passed. And now we are on to the inquiries or comments by members. We'll start with the mayor.
Just to continue on my last night's comment about train stoppages, and it was fortuitous, Deputy, that you were stopped by a train, but I think it was last week or the week before, there was a major train blockage in town, and being one who follows social media, there is some concern in the community. So I have spoken to Chief Campbell about this and brought it up again last night at council and asked for a formal report to come. I just want to highlight it here in the Police Services Board that it's something that is on my radar screen. I think everyone's radar screen. I think it's more a communication exercise. I do know there are plans in place for train stoppages, and that seems to be the concern of the community. What happens, right, Matt? Like what people are concerned about emergency services. I just want to bring that under here in this forum under inquiries and comments.
Thank you. Member Hahn?
None for me, thank you.
Member Wiersma?
Just curious, the graffiti thing, like, do you ever catch anybody?
As a matter of fact, we did about a month ago. There was a female who was going around town spray painting free Gaza and stuff on, I believe there was 11 or 12 different buildings, and she was caught and charged with all 12. So, and we are looking into, there's more, it was just posted recently on our social media about another one that's very prevalent around town, and we are looking to get intelligence on that.
Thank you.
Member Hall? Vice Chair Hall.
Thank you. No, my only comment is, I believe it was last week or the week before, during my other full-time job, I had the opportunity to attend on a medical call in town here with one of our new members that we met a few months ago during the one meeting. Able to talk to him for a little bit. He seems to be having a great time. He's doing very well. Just wanted to give him kudos for a job well done. He seems to be enjoying himself quite a bit. So that's it for me.
Thank you very much. And just on one comment to follow up on the mayor, I think members of the community who are concerned about train stoppages, it would be interesting if we could put out on social media information regarding the dispatching services that we have here in town. And when you go into the police dispatch center, it's sort of like air traffic control. And there's a lot going on with emergency services, fire, police, trains, but it's my impression that they have a handle on when the trains are coming through, and they always seem to have a contingency plan for emergency service routes in the event of a prolonged train stoppage. And perhaps the deputy chief might want to comment on that just before we move to other things.
Yeah, just to touch on that, we do have a relationship with CN and CP, so if there is going to be stoppages, they will let us know as soon as they can. Sometimes it's an emergency stoppage and they will let us know. We do not have a formalized process right now about notifying our EMS and, well, we dispatch fire, but notifying EMS about potential blockages. We are formalizing that through a procedure. We have our procedure fella doing up one for us, just to make sure that if new people come in, they know that to contact EMS or CAC and the fire department's fire chiefs that may be affected, so that it isn't a surprise.
Thank you very much. So just to reassure the public that it is in hand, that dispatch services are working on the best possible scenario when we have train stoppages, and I think that's just something to reassure the public that the ambulance will get through to the hospital. Okay, thank you very much. Eventually, yeah, exactly. But as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible, exactly. So that makes it number 9, schedule the meetings Tuesday, April 16th, 2024 at 10 a.m., Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024 at 10 a.m., and Tuesday, June 18th, 2024 at 10 a.m., which takes us to adjournment and a recommendation of the March 19th, 2024 Police Service Board meeting adjourned at 10:27. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Matt Hall, seconded by Henry Bursma. All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Is this a record?
I don't know.